Joe Kent, the director of the US National Counterterrorism Center, just resigned over the war in Iran, and this move is sending shockwaves through the US government. Kent's resignation is particularly significant given his role in overseeing the country's counterterrorism efforts, and his departure raises questions about the US's ability to effectively combat terrorism in the region. The fact that he's stepping down over the war in Iran suggests that there are deep divisions within the government about how to handle the situation.
The war in Iran has been a major point of contention in the U.S., with many lawmakers and government officials expressing concerns about the potential consequences of escalating tensions with the country.
Kent's resignation is just the latest development in a series of events that have highlighted the complexities and challenges of U.S. foreign policy in the region. The U.S. has been involved in a series of military conflicts in the Middle East, and the war in Iran has raised concerns about the potential for further destabilization in the region. You're watching Trend Flow, where we break down the stories everyone's talking about. Let's get into it. The resignation of Joe Kent is not just a minor personnel change. It's a significant indicator of the deep-seated disagreements within the U.S. government about how to handle the war in Iran. But that's not even the real story here. What's really going on is a behind-the-scenes struggle for control of U.S. foreign policy, with different factions vying for influence and power.
The fact that Kent resigned over the war in Iran suggests that there are serious concerns about the U.S.'s strategy in the region, and that there may be a growing divide between different parts of the government about how to move forward.
This is not just a matter of abstract policy debates. It has real-world consequences for the people of Iran, the U.S., and the wider region. The U.S.'s actions in Iran have the potential to destabilize the entire region and could have far-reaching consequences for global security and stability. The question on everyone's mind is, what does this mean for the future of U.S. foreign policy?
Honestly, I think this is just the beginning of a much larger crisis. The U.S. is facing elevated terrorism threats, and the war in Iran is only making things worse. The fact that the director of the National Counterterrorism Center felt compelled to resign over the issue suggests that there are serious concerns about the U.S.'s ability to effectively combat terrorism in the region.
This makes no sense. The U.S. is supposed to be a global leader in counterterrorism, but instead we're seeing a complete breakdown in leadership and strategy. The U.S. government needs to get its act together and come up with a coherent plan for dealing with the war in Iran, rather than just reacting to events as they happen. Wait, read that again. The director of the National Counterterrorism Center just resigned over the war in Iran, and nobody seems to know what's going on. The U.S. is facing a series of challenges and crises, from the war in Iran to the potential shutdown of some airports over funding standoffs. It's a complex and rapidly changing situation, and it's hard to keep track of what's happening. But one thing is clear. The U.S. government needs to get its priorities straight and start making some tough decisions about how to move forward.
This is insane. The U.S. is supposed to be a stable and secure country, but instead we're seeing a complete breakdown in leadership and governance.
The contrast between the U.S.'s rhetoric about counterterrorism and its actual actions is stark. On the one hand, the U.S. claims to be committed to combating terrorism and promoting global security. But on the other hand, its actions in Iran and elsewhere suggest that it's more interested in pursuing its own interests and agendas, regardless of the consequences for the people of the region. Everyone counted the U.S. out as a global leader in counterterrorism, but it turns out that they were wrong. The U.S. is still a major player, but its actions are increasingly erratic and unpredictable. The U.S. government needs to take a step back and reevaluate its strategy in the region. It needs to start thinking about the long-term consequences of its actions, rather than just reacting to events as they happen. The U.S. needs to start working with other countries and international organizations to promote stability and security in the region, rather than just pursuing its own interests.
The U.S. needs to start taking the war in Iran seriously and start developing a coherent plan for dealing with the crisis.
The U.S. is at a crossroads, and the decisions it makes in the coming weeks and months will have far-reaching consequences for the future of the country and the world. The U.S. needs to start thinking about the kind of country it wants to be and the kind of role it wants to play in the world. The US needs to start making some tough decisions about how to move forward, rather than just reacting to events as they happen. The US needs to start taking control of its own destiny, rather than just letting events unfold. Subscribe for more daily news breakdowns and hit the bell so you never miss a story. What do you think? Is the US's war in Iran a mistake, or is it a necessary step to promote global security?